TWN podcast.
Hello and welcome to another edition of your favourite weekly podcast. Sorry, every other podcast on this website. The Wednesday Night War. Hello, welcome. We are firmly on the road to Tampa with Revolution in our rearview mirror. And I'm going to fully say rearview mirror because Brad beat me in the predictions contest.
Yep, there we are. I'd love to do that again and see how my record goes.
1 point.
What was that point? Was that the Neville match, wasn't it? Pat match. Although I think you beat me on the actual championship match.
I got you on the main event. And you got, so we both got Dark Order right. You got Pac right. We both got Nola Rose, both got Darby Allin, both got Hager, both got Young Bucks. You got MJF, and I got Moxley. So yeah, by one.
We're here 1-0. Let's carry on.
1-0, we'll carry on. But yes, let's crack on with the podcast. I am your host, the ever lovable and creative George, and joined by me, as always, is the Trevor McDonald of TWM is Brad Cassidy.
I love the Trevor McDonald. I wanted to be the CM Punk, but I'll settle for the Trevor McDonald.
Well, you're the newsman, so I'm thinking of more news-related nicknames for you as I write these scripts and notes and that sort of stuff.
I just thought it was quite controversial, but that's fine. You carry on.
You're quite controversial anyway. But before we get into the podcast itself, we'll get through admin and that sort of stuff. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Acast, Podbean, YouTube, and anywhere you do get your podcast from. Please subscribe to us on YouTube because we want followers and views and likes and that sort of stuff. So please do that. TWN podcasts are brought to you by We Love Sport, the fantastic app to find your nearest sports bar showing some lovely WWE wrestling. They've got over 400 sports bars in the UK, and you can find them all at your fingertips using their app. Download from Google Play or Apple, the We Love Sport app. Follow them on all social medias at We Love Sport UK, and check out their website welovesport.co. Additionally, go out and check WrestleCrate, and that's wrestlecrate.co.uk. Use the code TWM when you first sign up to get yourself an autographed item in your monthly box. And then if you continue to stay subscribed, you get a second and a third autographed item as well. So they are very, very cool boxes. Admin done, introductions done, NXT time. We had 2 cage matches last night on NXT. We'll go with both of them in the same segment, obviously split up in between to have a little chat about them. We'll first speak about the women's cage match between Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox, a match I thought was pretty routine for Tegan to win. But no, she lost, but she did lose in Healy horrible fashion because of Raquel Gonzalez. Pretty wicked spot. Nox choke slams Dakota Kai from the top rope. Obviously, we can lean against the cage. Yeah, it was a very similar choke slam to what happened to Nox from Raquel Gonzalez at Portland when she clipped the table, but it was pretty gnarly bump. But basically, how the end of the match comes is... Oh no, hold on, I've missed out something here. She goes to a save, obviously, because she can't, because Raquel Gonzalez is only outside. She's wandering around. So, big dive off the top. Both women in this match, Brad, took some bumps, especially Dakota.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like, when she came off the top of the cage, that was quite good. And also, yeah, I've seen them slam into the cage. I think both women in this match definitely, did the world of good for the NXT women's division. In comparison, which I didn't think was anywhere near as this, definitely showed that there is at least quite a bit of talent within the NXT women's division available at your fingertips.
Yeah, it was a very, very good, very, very good cage match between the two women, especially like women. I think this is only the second, maybe third women's cage match they've had, and for two women that aren't hardcore cage match wrestlers on NXT TV, they've smashed it out of the park massively between the two matches they had at Portland and last night's takeover. Last night's NXT tapings. End of the match comes, so Nox is trying to climb down the cage right by the door. Raquel Gonzalez obviously down there. So what she does is flicks the door open, tries to pull out Dakota Kai. You've got as she's pulling out by her legs. Nox kicks the door, flicks it around, hits Dakota in the knee. obviously they both had knee issues because they rehabbed together. Dakota and then Raquel Gonzalez just grabs the door, pins Tegan Nox against the cage, like between the door and the cage, and gets Dakota out, and Dakota wins. I was quite surprised at the ending of this match.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, I wasn't, because you could tell that she was going to get interference purely from her presence at ringside. So yeah, but I've never seen anyone trapped in a door before. But I am questioning what you said, though. I can't think of another. Do you mean women's cage match in general? Because I can't think of another women's cage match. I'm not counting War Games in NXT, to be honest.
Yes, there was one, and it was Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler, because we had this discussion last week or the week before about, I think it was a week before, about cage matches. There was Shayna Baszler against no, it wasn't Kairi Sane. Was it Kairi Sane? Yes, it was. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it was Kairi Sane before she moved on to the main roster. And I think there was another one that I think either you mentioned or Matt might have mentioned. I can't actually remember. But yeah, there was 2 cage matches, or at least one on NXT between the women.
Oh right, okay, yeah. I mean, that's it's quite good that
Io Shirai, sorry, not Kairi Sane.
No, but I mean, at least it's something that I don't immediately think of. So that's different in and of itself. Then, I mean, I think many fans might have also forgot that match happened. So yeah, like seeing a big match like that pay off between 2 women on the roster, definitely, it stands in good stead for their women's division, 100%.
Yeah, it was really good. Skip to later on in the evening, we got Dream versus Roderick Strong in the cage match. An interesting development, and I really, really like this part, was Marina Shafir coming down and slipping a kendo stick into the ring for Roddy to use as a weapon. It backfired, but it was nice to see her involved.
It was a bit annoying, though, like seeing, Roderick Strong and the Undisputed Era getting into the cell with Velveteen Dream, but seeing him seeing them beating them up was, it was quite heroic. It was quite decent. And I'm liking the fact that the drop in the fact that he's, he's
married to another superstar.
Not that, like, he's not like targeting their family anymore. He's not got them on their trunks or anything like that. Like, it was ruining the character. Exactly. It was. I can tell that was perhaps a Vince thing that they've now dropped. What
you think Vince's idea was put their faces on his tights? I wouldn't be surprised, actually.
Yeah, because it's a bit Rick Rude, isn't it? And obviously it worked in the Attitude Era, but we're not in the Attitude Era anymore. We're in 2020. Exactly. So yeah, it just doesn't help his case. So it's good to see him bounce back from that. Yeah,
definitely. Obviously, to elaborate on what Brad said there, the Undisputed Era did end up coming down and getting involved. Like they always do, but what was hilarious is they all came down armed. They all come down with weapons. I think 2 of them had chairs and 1 of them had a kendo stick. So just picked up on their way through. Carl and Bobby Fish are trying to climb up the sides, but Dream's managing to keep them at bay, whether it be kicking the cage or throwing stuff against the cage. Cole gets in while he's not paying attention. I think he slips out the back. Roddy is about to crawl out the door, and you can see Dream stop him, look back, see Cole, and then go, screw it. Throws out Roddy, locks the door, handcuffs the door closed. There's handcuffs hanging on the cage for some reason. So Roddy won because Dream let him, because Dream wanted to be trapped in the cage with Cole. Cole's like, you can see Cole verbally go, what are you doing? And then Dream goes ballistic on him. Obviously, he's now changed his mind. I'm not going to go for Roddy in revenge. I'm going to go for Cole and the NXT title. So he basically batters Cole. Roddy gets back into the cage by climbing over the top of it. So he starts to lay into him with a kendo stick while he's laying on top of the cage, drops down, and he hits a Dream Valley driver onto Cole. Roddy's out of the match, out of the situation. He's like tied up in a tree of woe, and holds up the title to close the show. So it's Velveteen Dream has quickly moved on from Roddy to Adam, and I'm very okay with this.
Oh yeah. I mean, Velveteen Dream is his best place is on NXT, to be honest, because he would be an amazing champion, and I don't see him doing very well on the main roster. I see him being a bit of a ricochet, as you saw this week, just being lost in the shuffle, being buried. On NXT, him with the championship is probably the best place for him right now.
Yeah, I think Cole suits main roster more than Dream does, because if Dream got anywhere near the main roster, Vince would destroy him.
It'd be a no way Jose, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, I've lost my train of thought. I've actually just lost my train of thought. Yeah. So looks like we're going to get Dream versus Cole at Tampa. Probably going to be the transition champion, and then Cole will pick that, and the Undisputed Era go on to the main roster. Maybe, I don't know. They like teasing us with these sorts of stuff. Other than that, like last night's NXT, outside of the two cage matches, was really promo based. Like we did get the first person announced for the ladder match for the women. It turns out it's 6 people. I thought it was only 2, but it's actually 6 women. Chelsea Green defeated Shotzi Blackheart to get into the match. Bit of bullshit, because Shotzi deserves everything, and she is over like Rover. My God, like she was getting so many chants.
I agree with you. The first, like when a kid is driving, when they have like one of those like Fiat car things, they start driving them. It's starting to look a little bit like one of those toy car things. It's kind of cringy. And to see this match, I didn't think it was as good as perhaps the other women on this show. I just didn't do much for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not particularly fond of Chelsea Green. I don't know if that's because her mannerisms, like the whole shush thing, and she's just trying to be like so many heel women we've seen in the past. Like it's just not gripping with me. Might be the Robbie Stone thing, because it's annoying to see him just as a manager, because he's a class wrestler. I don't know, but we're going to get obviously 5 more women in this ladder match at Tampa Bay. The first obviously announced was Chelsea Green. Like I said, a lot of promos on last night's NXT. Rhea Ripley got one of her visiting the stadium in which WrestleMania is being hosted, for her to wander around and obviously be shown having a look at this sort of stuff. It was pretty cool to give the NXT women's title more prestige, in a sense of it being shown to be at WrestleMania and that sort of thing, and how much faith they've got in Rhea Ripley. So I think that was pretty cool to see. We got another promo from Finn Balor setting his sights on Walter, obviously after last week's Imperium attack. We've got a segment between Keith Lee and Cameron Grimes, in which Cameron Grimes challenges Keith Lee for the North American Championship. Cameron's going to get killed, isn't he?
Oh, next week, yeah, Cameron's definitely going to get squashed. But it's just, I'm telling you now, this is setting up for a fatal 4-way at Tampa Bay between obviously Cameron Grimes, Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic, and Priest. His name now. Priest. Yeah, so that's it's obvious where it's going. This is why I don't. It's my biggest problem with WWE at the minute, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. It feels quite predictable what's going to happen with this. So the excitement of seeing it isn't there so much. But by the time that Fatal 4-Way comes up, it'll be a different story.
I feel like what might happen is Grimes gets so battered that he can't compete, so Killian Dane replaces him, so it's just 4 big hosses instead of 3 big hosses and 1 little guy.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. That would be good. What about Bronson Reed though?
Oh yes, Bronson Reed as well.
Because he's been at it with Killian Dane at the minute, so I see him getting involved somehow. It'd be I think it'll be quite a big multi-man match, to be honest. If I'm going to be blunt.
Yeah, I can see it being. I reckon they'll do 2 ladder matches. I reckon they'll do the women's one, and then they'll do a ladder match for the North American title. I wouldn't be surprised, because ladders are fun. We did get some wrestling last night, of course. Undisputed Era defeated the Britain Brawlers in a the ending was really throwaway. Like it was only Lorcan picking up some steam, and then she got hit with a high-low, and that was it. Really.
What have they done recently? Only Lorcan and Danny Burch, it just feels like the
205 Live.
Right, okay. Right, okay. I don't watch that. I don't think many people do either. But it just they need to be doing something, and it just feels, because they are really good wrestlers. But what's the point if they're losing to? Well, if they're doing obvious squash matches, what is the point of them even sort of being there on a weekly TV program? Do something with them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. Because the governor is class. I love Danny Burch. I think he's quality. We got another promo package from the grizzled young veterans who said they were going after the tag titles. clearly they're a tag team. Like, why would they be there otherwise? That was a bit of a throwaway comment, but oh well. But it's good to see Grizzled Young Vets on the main roster because they are absolutely class. The final match we got last night was Austin Theory defeating Isaiah Swerve Scott in a banger. I've really enjoyed this match.
Oh, yeah, same. Yeah. Austin Theory is... You can tell he's still green, but I think this is the best match he's had so far that I've seen of him. Obviously, I've not seen him in Evolve, unfortunately, but I have seen what he's done in NXT a couple of times now. And from what I've seen of him, this is the best that I've ever seen him be. So either he's being allowed to show more of his stuff or he's just developing more as a talent, one or the other.
I think he is still Evolve champion as well. I think because I'm pretty sure he is still Evolve World Champion. Oh no, he's not. No, he's not even in Evolve anymore.
Anyone that watches Evolve, just tell us who's the champion.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it now because I'm curious. The current world champion is Josh Briggs. Oh mate, he's a beast. Yeah.
Josh Briggs was good. He was on that network special, wasn't he? He was the big one.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was class. He beat Austin Theory in November. Okay, fair enough. Fair. Right. And then the last thing we got last night on NXT was a sit-down interview between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa in the NXT Performance Center, which was mildly uncomfortable to watch because Johnny was just really, really weird. Like it's a comment, the man with more heart than Valentine's Day. That is so cringy. I can see why people don't like Johnny Gargano.
I love Johnny Gargano. I think he's the face in this, honestly, because he's like, you don't understand why I attacked Tommaso Ciampa. Obviously, I attacked him because, and then obviously, the back history. But this interview as well. Before we move on, this interview felt very AEW, and I mean that in a positive way. Normally, WWE interviews, I'm creasing out. I'm thinking, can this be over? Can this sort of, just flop. Whereas Mauro Ranallo gave him an incredible performance. He got visibly awkward sort of towards the end. He was trying to, I think he was threatening him. He was at least raising his voice and trying to intimidate him. And yeah, like that was that's so rare to happen in WWE. I honestly, their interviews and their scripts, I don't mean to slag them off because obviously they have some of the best wrestlers in the world, but their scripts are some of the most horrible pieces of TV that I've seen sometimes. That was a complete 180. That was one of the best interviews I've ever seen from that company.
Yeah, Mauro Ranallo is an absolute professional, but I reckon he was just awkward. I reckon that was filmed about 5 minutes after backstage when they announced JBL's going into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
And well, I mean, the last point I forgot to write it down, but I forgot to mention it at the beginning. No Beth Phoenix. Obviously, she got an RKO from Randy Orton on Raw on Monday, so great storytelling, continuing it on. Well done, WWE.
Yeah, I didn't even notice, but yeah, fair enough.
Because she barely says anything, that's why.
Yeah, true.
TWM podcasts are brought to you by We Love Sport, the fantastic app finding you your nearest sports bar showing the latest WWE pay-per-views. We Love Sport has over 400 of the best sports bars and pubs in the UK at your fingertips and allows you to book front row seats, giving you the best views of the action. You can also check out what sports are being shown over the next 7 days, making sure you don't miss a second of the action. Download the We Love Sport app on the App Store or Google Play Store. Follow We Love Sport on all social media platforms at We Love Sport UK and check out welovesport.co.
Oh, hold on, I really need to do this properly. We got our first appearance of oh my god, that really up my throat. Moxley as AEW World Champion. Before I continue, Justin Roberts, you are the greatest commentator ring announcer of all time. I absolutely adore you. So he opened up the show for Dynamite last night, saying that the world title was never Jericho's. It's not his. It is the AEW fans. I'm glad they don't call him a universe to be absolute cringe bags. Jericho ends up coming out, like he basically, Moxley baits him into coming out. Jericho comes out and says he doesn't need the title to be Le Champion, and says it's typical Moxley to invite the whole inner circle after him. He asks the fans if they like the Moxley era, and obviously when they all start responding yes, he tells them that they suck ass. It's the second time he said that in this mini promo as well. And basically Moxley baits Jericho into a match and says that I'm going to beat you so badly that you're not going to be here for 60 days. Really specific, time frame. Really, really random to go 60 days. Which sets up. Go on.
Do you know why they said it? It's because it's rinsing the drug taking at WWE, because he went with 30 at the beginning and then he went with 60.
Right, fair enough. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense now I've said it. And we get obviously a main event out of this, and it was set up last week anyway, but or set up earlier this week, sorry. And that was Jon Moxley and Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho, obviously the two winners and the two losers of the singles matches, respectively, at AEW Revolution. Before we get into that match, really, really Shield-based offense in this entire segment for this final match, because we got Moxley coming through the crowd. He does it anyway, but that's a throwback to old Shield. He gets attacked by three hooded and masked men, which are revealed to be, I think, Santana, Ortiz, and Hager. Yeah, the other three members, which leaves Darby Allin on his own to get surrounded by the Inner Circle. A classic Shield move. I can see what they're doing here. It effectively becomes a 2-on-1 handicap match, because Moxley does. I don't think it actually makes any appearance in the physical match itself, does he?
No, it was mainly just Darby Allin. It was good. It was good seeing the beatdown. That was very WWE, but it was the good part of WWE, that one. But seeing Darby Allin there on his own, sort of fending for himself, it was. I mean, Darby Allin's an underdog anyway. If you remember his match with Chris Jericho when he had his arm tied back behind his back, he's always in matches like that. So it was nothing new. It was nothing new, and he excels when he's put in situations like that, 100%.
Yep, and he also has the second best theme song in AEW, third best, because Kingdom is a tune, and obviously Judas is as well, and then Darby Allin's is just class. The ending of the match was really good, but then when you think about it logically, not as a wrestling fan, wrestling mark, or what you want, this scripting storyline, that sort of stuff. When you think about it logically, Darby Allin hits a coffin drop on Sammy Guevara. He doesn't go for the pin. He goes for a dive on Jericho, who's on the outside of the ring. Jericho hits a Judas effect mid-air, and it is beautiful. The Judas effect elbow is a 100% piss take on John Cena when he came up with the lightning fist, his fifth move of doom. Obviously, Jericho's brought one out as well, and it's just a spinning back elbow. That is probably more dangerous to do than the lightning fist, but you can clearly see the correlation as a bit of a piss take.
It's an actual martial art move. That is.
It is. Yeah, it is. But it is when he came up with it, it's a real mock of Cena. He hits on Darby Allin mid-air as he's going for a suicide dive. It rolls him in the ring. He gets pinned by Guevara. Obviously, Guevara was always going to pin him because of AEW Revolution. After the beatdown, Moxley comes back out from the back with a chair, but he gets absolutely overwhelmed by every member of the Inner Circle. And then guess what they do? They do a Shield bomb off the stage through a table. Very WWE referencing, aren't they? With the Shield thing.
Yeah, but let's make it clear the good part of WWE.
Yeah. So and then they flip him off to end the show because it's sticking the middle finger up at him. But a really good segment. It got everyone over in this segment. It got Darby Allin over as the underdog. It got Jericho over as the maniacal going to do anything you can to get the title back. The Inner Circle over as just henchmen. And I think Moxley may have been the only one that suffered from this booking, but it was because he wasn't involved.
Oh yeah, but Moxley doesn't suffer from any booking. I can say that much. His character is very much secure. In
AEW, you got to add that on the end. It doesn't suffer any booking in AEW.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But AEW know how to book wrestlers. Sorry about that. But AEW know how to book wrestlers.
Yeah, no, they do. You're right, they do. But yeah, it's a great segment, stretched throughout the entire show from the beginning with the promo and that sort of stuff. And Moxley being his usual self, and this isn't a Dean Ambrose thing. It's not John Moxley. It's just Jonathan Good, and that is being a nutter and just doing whatever he feels like, which is obviously challenging the entire Inner Circle. Last night, Sorry. Before you move on, I don't like him being called the Lunatic Fringe, though. Jericho called him the Lunatic Fringe, and it was like, don't do that. Yeah, that's the worst nickname they've ever given a person, because I don't understand I don't get it. Lunatic fringe. What's the fringe have to do with anything? The fringe means you're on the edge. I know, I understand that bit, but it just doesn't really fit. And yeah,
not at all.
It doesn't fit. But last night we got a huge debut in AEW.
Yeah,
I got chills. I got chills.
Yeah. Before we carry on though, I actually just want to make the point. I like that they're using old wrestlers, but WWE do it, but they don't do it in the way that AEW do it.
They're using it in a smart way.
Exactly. So there's Arn Anderson, there's Tully Blanchard, there's DDP sort of, and then there's Jake Roberts, and all of them have been used quite exceptionally well, I think.
Yeah, I think the only WWE reference you can make in this sense would have been, oh my god, I forgot his name. Oh, I've forgotten his name. AOP and...
Oh, Paul Ellering.
Paul Ellering, that's the one, thank you. Yeah, I think he's the only usage of a Hall of Famer recently, or an older wrestler recently, that you can say, yes, that is very smart use of the experienced guy, in a sense. But yeah, the build-up to Jake the Snake Roberts coming out, Cody comes to the ring and says he doesn't know how he's going to get on, because he lost to MJF, and he bubbles on for a little bit. But Cody does get a massive pop when he waffles bollocks. He gets so many people behind him because he does it with such you can see the passion in him.
Exactly,
conviction. Yeah. So yeah, he basically says that he can't deal with the fact that he lost to MJF unless MJF comes out and says that he beat him fair and square. Which obviously we all know he didn't, because he used the Dynamite Diamond Ring, or whatever it's called, to knock out Cody. Instead of MJF coming down, we get Jake the Snake Roberts, who gets a massive pop from the fans. The only thing I was really upset about is he looked so out of breath walking when he got into the ring.
Oh yeah, his voice is... I didn't realise his voice was as husky as that as well.
I think he's full of alcohol and fags.
Yeah, but obviously, I need to apologise last week. I didn't do anything wrong, but AEW promised the debut of Lance Archer on the show, and that obviously didn't happen. But as a spoiler, I think AEW have spoiled it themselves. But I can see Jake Roberts representing Lance Archer. Yeah,
I think he needs a talking. Lance Archer would need a talker anyway, because I don't remember any good promos he's ever cut, through WWE, TNA.
He was good at
New Japan. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I think he must have worked on the heels.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But yeah, if he's New Japan Lance Archer with Jake Roberts, magic.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty decent. But I felt a little bit horrible to see Jake the Snake Roberts when he come out, because he just looked really, really knackered. But
he must be in his late 60s about now.
Well, he's been through some hard times.
Oh yeah, watch. Have you seen the documentary about it?
Yeah, I see. It's so good.
Yeah, it's he had the worst childhood ever. Pretty much the most abusive childhood ever, and the way he's turned his life around, most people wouldn't be able to sort of do what he's done. He's bounced back magnificently, Jake Roberts.
Yeah, he's 64, by the way, and he's got 8 children. That's crazy.
Well, not really. He's a bit Lemmy-ish, isn't he? If we're going to be honest.
Yeah. All right, fair point. Yeah, like Brad said, his voice is so husky, and I think everyone forgets how deep it is. But he says he was in the back and he got tired of listening to Cody cry and bitch and moan, because he never did that when he lost the match in his career. Cody got his ass handed to him, and he should just own it. He's also mentioned he's got a client, which obviously is what Brad was referring to with Lance Archer, and the Dark Side is coming to AEW, and he'll be at ringside when Cody faces him, and Cody can bring on with him if he feels like. We got more developments with the Elite storyline as well last night, after the penultimate. That's what it was, after the penultimate match in the show. QT Marshall losing to Jake Hager after Jake Hager hits the locks in the standing triangle choke. He doesn't let go. He keeps it on. Obviously, QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes are apparently going to be forming a tag team, which is pretty cool because it keeps Dustin on TV. We see QT a little bit more. But yeah, I can get down with that. Dustin gets in, obviously attacks Hager to get him off QT, and Santana and Ortiz also at ringside, and they obviously get involved and come into the ring. Cody comes out to help his brother out, but he does some fantastic work in a suit. Like he has a beautiful power slam on I think it's Santana in a suit. Eventually gets clobbered in the back with a chair by Ortiz. Then Matt Jackson comes down. There's no Nick. They just say Nick's not here. They don't explain why. They just commentators just say Nick's not here tonight. He hits a couple of super kicks, and then he also then succumbs to the Inner Circle's beatdown. Who comes out to save Matt Jackson, Cody, Dustin, and QT? None other than our favourite cowboy, Hangman Adam Page. But he originally comes down to calm everyone down.
Yeah, and he's also not happy with Matt Jackson either. At the end of that cycle. Oh yeah.
He comes down with a beer in his hand. Of course, he comes down with a beer in his hand. It's half empty, which Jim Ross references on commentary, saying nobody has gone. He tries to calm down the Inner Circle, but they're sort of not really paying attention to him. So he leans over, pops his beer on the ring on the ring post, and then starts getting involved. He gets thrown out of the ring by Hager, and he hits a buckshot lariat on Hager, and then like Brad said, him and Matt Jackson get in each other's faces. Matt's sort of like saying, like, me and you, one more, like, we'll go again. And then Page flips him off, gets out of the ring, and takes a fan's beer because he drunk his other one. Is it just me, or does Jake Hager's knee pads really annoy you?
No, I quite like it because he's a bit... See, he reminds me of what Matt Riddle used to be. He's like a Bellator guy, even though he's really not very good fighter, to be honest. I think his last match he won by... He lost. I don't know if he won or he lost.
He's won by... He's 2-0.
Yeah, but the other one he won because someone kicked him in the willy. And
that was the second. Yeah, that was it. One.
So let's not go over ourselves too much with that. But the last 5-star world champion is he's all right. But I think. Sorry.
Go on. No, you go on.
I was just going to say, as a top MMA guy, an MMA suited guy, a bit Kurt Angle-y. I quite a bit Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle-y. Yeah, I quite like it. I hope he wins more of his matches by submission, though. It's a very slight thing, but it adds a bit of realism to it.
I really like his submission move. It's like you can lock it in straight away, and it's actually a legitimate MMA submission move. It's a triangle choke, but it's like them standing up. Now, when I say his gear really annoys me, it's because and then the cover of it comes down and it's like down his legs, so it looks like he's got like a leg sleeve on. It's really weird. And then obviously he rolls it back up, but it keeps coming down. But yeah. Really, really fun segment here with the like development in the storyline, not between the Bucks, Page and Omega, just between Page and Matt.
Yeah. Well, it's I don't get why it's specifically Matt. Was Matt the one that made the comment? Was Matt the one that made? No,
Nick was.
Oh right, okay, yeah. So yeah, he hates Matt, but he doesn't mind Nick. Nick's okay.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Like, Nick made the comment being a ring honor jobber, but Matt has healed it up more in person in altercations.
Could you tell though that they were trying to sort of give them a bit the night off after what was one of the best tag matches that you would have seen this Saturday? Well, we might as well talk a bit about this Saturday because we haven't on podcast form.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of linked to what we're talking about. So we'll do it at the end of this if you want. But I mean, the tag match was one of the best matches I've ever seen, and it was one of the most hard-hitting and longest matches I've ever seen. So I could tell why they wanted to give the guys the night off.
Well, it was over half an hour.
Yeah, and it was beautiful.
It was amazing. It was one of the first ever AEW 30 minutes left. Never had that. You never really hear him say it.
Definitely, and it was go back and watch that match. If you're going to watch anything from the pay-per-view, watch that match. But you can tell that it was built from that, and these guys are going to, lead the AEW going forward in the tag division.
And Kenny Omega is an Iron Man because he had a 30-minute Iron Man Pac on Wednesday, had a 30-odd minute tag match classic with Paige and the Young Bucks. He fully deserved last night off.
Definitely, yeah.
I would be on the floor, like, yeah, screw this. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not having fun. Last night we also got another development in the storyline that we got from the pre-show match, and that was SCU and beating Dark Order. So they got like a bit of a one-up on them after the pre-show. Evil Uno gets out of the ring and he is so pissed, and he says the Exalted One is not going to be happy. I don't want it to be. I now don't want it to be Matt Hardy. I want it to be someone else. But we're like, based on the Free the Delete finale, in which the Young Bucks come to his house, I think that's a big giveaway.
Yeah, I mean, it'll happen sooner rather than later. But what I don't get though is, why would the Young Bucks be going to his house? Don't say it's to do with AEW. Like, why? No, but why would the Young Bucks be associated with them? That's the one negative I can see in that. He's going to come in as a face. I think he'll turn.
Yeah, it's like they're
for War Games, maybe. Would that be a good place to do it? Not War Games, Blood and Guts. But
yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. It's really weird because obviously the Bucks are EVPs of AEW. Like, they're going to fully be involved in booking and signing people and contracts and that sort of stuff, which is obviously, I think, one of the reasons why they appeared in Free to Delete. But I completely agree with you. The Dark Order and the Young Bucks have not cross paths. They're not affiliated with each other, so I really don't understand why they were in it.
That's why I'm saying he's coming in as a face. He's coming in as Matt Hardy, and he'll turn in that match.
Go on.
Sorry, I was going to say I think it'll be the Elite and Matt Hardy. So Kenny and the Young Bucks and Matt Hardy versus the 4 members of the what's it called now? The group,
Dark Order.
The Dark Order, and then towards the end of the match, he'll turn on like Kenny or something, and just it'll end that way.
Yeah, or that's my prediction now. The Exalted One is Tony Khan, and we're going to get it was real reboot. Yeah. 20 odd years later. Do you
think Adam Page might join that group?
Say again?
This is purely skepticism. I know. Do you think Adam Page might join that group?
No, because they're trying to put him alone, and I don't think having a man in the Dark Order in which the crowd chants cowboy stuff at him is going to work.
No, but like he'll turn on Kenny sooner rather than later, and that seems to be the match that's going to happen. Kenny and Matt versus them two. I think Matt and them will turn and join them, and Matt will be the leader. But and Lance Archer, and Jake the Snake will also join them. It'll be a massive group. I see.
See, I really want Matt's Matty ID. I really want his theory to come true, and that is Kenny Omega turns on Paige and it's revealed to be the Exalted One. I would love that. That would be incredible.
I mean, I see it even bigger as well. I see Brody Lee in there as well, because Brody Lee's coming soon.
Basically, Brad's booking the entirety of the Dark Order, and if you have dark hair or look like a heel, then you're going in.
Yeah, if you're a goth, you're going in, basically.
I like that, yeah. The goths, I like that. We got Big Swole squashing Leva Bates last night. Again, we had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, on commentary for that one. That was actually the only women's match on the show. And then we also got Pac defeating Chucky T. He seems to be slowly making his way through the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. Post-match, we got an attack by Pac and the Lucha Bros, who obviously appeared at Revolution. And Pat grabs a microphone and calls himself Death Triangle. 1, I hate the name. 2, I said this off to both you and Matt, and that was Fenix cannot be a heel because he still wears like brightly coloured gear. Pentagon looks badass. He can be a heel. He's got black gear. He's got the face paint on. He's brutal. He's horrible. Fine. Pac is a bastard. We all know he's a dick. Fenix, sore thumb.
Yeah, it's an easy fix. All you need to do is just make his trunks black and make his mask black. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, I suppose. It's just, yeah. He just sticks out a little gear or like brightly coloured gear.
That's all you need to do is just give him a costume change and it'll be fine. And you know, I think they'll be switched onto that a little bit.
Yeah, no, but I do like the fact that he went. Like Pat got the mic and went, "We're Death Triangle." Then put the mic in between both Lucha Brothers, and they went, "We are Triangulo de la Muerte." Obviously, they're Spanish. The Spanish translation. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was very, very a great way to include a multinational situation, because obviously we got the Geordie pack. That's gonna be real. I'd love to sit on the offline and want that conversation with you.
Do you know what I want to see? And it won't happen, but it'll be amazing. I want to see Park take them just up a British pub in their gear and just have like they're like northern lads just going, just like, you know, like going, what the bloody hell is that kind of thing in like a Newcastle accent. It would just be like the best thing ever. Just them going into a pub in the Tyne, and it's like, yeah, we're Bonilla. Yeah, no, I'm just expecting them giving them funny looks, just looking at the mask like that. That would be like, don't even script the people in the pub. Just do like genuine reactions as they walk in. Be amazing.
So good, so good.
TWM Podcasts have joined forces with WrestleCrate, the original and best monthly theme, monthly wrestling subscription service to bring you a fantastic deal. If you use the code TWM Wrestling when you sign up to a monthly subscription at WrestleCrate.co.uk, you will receive a free item in your first month's box. Then, if you stay for another month, you'll get a second free item. And then, if you stay for a third month, you guessed it, we'll give you a third free item. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. WrestleCrate brings you the best swag from the biggest companies and names in the wrestling world. We're talking t-shirts, photos, pins, DVDs, vinyl figures, and loads more from WWE, Progress, Shikara, NXT, Fight Club Pro, and loads more. That's WrestleCrate.co.uk and use the code TWM Wrestling for up to free items, all thanks to WrestleCrate and TWM.
Brad, it was a difficult one to pick, but what was a better show?
I'm only just for NXT again. I think the fact it had 2 cage matches, the fact it had that incredible match between Isaiah Scott and Austin Theory was incredible. AEW I thought was quite good, but it was just coming off the pay-per-view. It was just sort of rounding out storylines. So NXT was just, it was the highlight show.
Yeah, it's like, look at them on a graph. It's NXT are moving upwards because they're moving towards Tampa, and AEW are sort of going straight because they've just come out of a pay-per-view. They're not dipping because the quality's never going to dip. They're not going to go upwards because they're not building to anything else next. Like you say, they're just rounding everything off. And they're continuing on storylines, teasing the Exalted One and Lance Archer and Brody Lee and all these sorts of things. And yeah, NXT was good. Like, the action was good. The women's cage match was good. The men's cage match was good until the end. Like, I really thought the end, the way they went about the ending was really weird, and that was obviously Dream giving Roddy the win. And I'm glad that bit's over, but it was weird. And yeah, like I said, Austin Theory and Swerve Scott was a class match. So very much agree with you on NXT being the dominant one. And I've added something new to our section, and I'm calling it Brad's Corner, because Brad is newsboy, so I'm calling it Brad's Corner.
Brad's Corner. Okay, so next NXT next week, we're looking to actually, we're not going to be from the Full Sail live.
Yeah, don't they have an award ceremony or something like that?
Yeah, the university's annual Hall of Fame week. I have no idea what that is, but I assume it's some student-y thing. So it's actually going to be from the Performance Centre next week.
Interesting. Where are they going to put the fans?
They've got, I think it's a couple hundred seats around the ring. And that's it. They're going to move all the other rings out. They're going to have one big centre ring, and they're just going to put a bunch of chairs in. So So it's going to be quite a basic setup, but it'll look quite good. It's going to be a lot smaller than the normal NXT show. But there's going to be 2 title matches, so it won't be small in regards to actually what's on the show. It'll be Keith Lee versus Cameron Grimes, the NXT North American Championship. And it'll also be Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne versus the Undisputed Era for the NXT Tag Team Championships.
The noise we're going to get in that building for bro, as Matt Riddle comes out, it's just going to be unreal. Like, because it's a smaller building, it's less people, the noise is just going to echo.
Do you see any titles change?
No.
There we are.
Do you think the Bruiserweights are going to lose?
The Bruiserweights, I don't think they'll lose. I think it's too early. I think that Keith Lee will just reign dominant. So, no, I personally don't see any of the titles changing.
No, I don't have any news to add to your corner, so that means we can wrap up and finish, and we can stop talking.
I've got AEW.
Oh, you got more? Oh, Brad's got more news. Ignore me. Brad, continue.
It's all right.
Okay,
I'm just going to ruin the results from AEW Revolution before it starts. Dark Order defeated to SCU. Jake Hager defeated Dustin Rose. Darby Allin defeated Sammy Guevara. Kenny Omega and Adam Page defeated the Young Bucks. Nyla Rose defeated Chris Statlander. MJF defeated Cody. Pat defeated Orange Cassidy. And John Moxley defeated Chris Jericho. We've also got some updates regarding this. So, according to Dave Meltzer, as I said before, Jake the Snake is going to manage Lance Archer, but that is just a wrestling opinion, maybe from one of the best in wrestling, but
opinion. Matt Hardy also had the Young Bucks on his YouTube show, so he's looking likely to be debuting for an AEW soon. And next week we'll have a few matches. We'll have Cody Rhodes versus Ortiz. We'll have the debut match of Death Triangle, but they haven't had an opponent be announced as of yet.
It'll be the best friends.
And we're going to have another.
Okay, so as well as debut of the Death Triangle, we'll have another 6-man tag team match as well, which will feature MJF with the Butcher and the Blade taking on members of the Jurassic Express 6-man tag. And finally, the rules for Blood and Guts edition of Dynamite from March 25th will be announced.
Woohoo! Everyone's saying it's like War Games, but it's their cheap way of doing War Games.
Yeah, so we're just gonna. Well, it might be different. We need to wait until next week to hear what the actual rules will be.
We do. Did you see? Saying MJF, did you see the MJF flipped off a 7-year-old?
Yes, and that was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, and who was it that retweeted it? Someone retweeted it saying, "I've been doing that since MJF was. MJF was in school." And it cracked me up when I saw that. But yeah, Brad's Corner is done. The news is done. NXT and AEW are done. And we are done. We can go. We can get out of your ears and stop talking. Do not forget to follow us on socials, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at TWM Wrestle. Subscribe to us on Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Acast, Podbean, and YouTube. Head over to twm.news now to read yourself some wonderful articles. We've had quite a few good ones going up this week. We had a really good one and a really current one for Tuesday. It went up was by Dan. What if WrestleMania was cancelled? Obviously, there's a big rumour of coronavirus cancelling multiple different sporting events, WrestleMania being one of them. Yeah, New Japan have cancelled stuff. We got White Orange Cassidy is better than you think by McIver. Very relevant to this podcast. We have Brad's one going up today, which is top 5 Booker T moments. And
you dig it.
You got the plugs in. We have What Have Ric Flair Done for Modern Wrestling by Adam. We've got my article going up tomorrow, which is why Kyle O'Reilly is the most entertaining wrestler in WWE. And also another NXT related one for Shalene, which is why Bianca Belair deserves better. We've got predictions for Elimination Chamber on Saturday, which is Victoria, and what is next for the Fiend, which is by Harsh. So very good stuff going on to the website. Like I said, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at TWM Wrestle. Head over to wrestlecrate.co.uk. Use the code TWM Wrestling to get yourself an autographed item free. And if you do continue to subscribe for 2 additional months, you get 2 more additional autographed items. We Love Sport app. Go on to your app store and Google Play, whichever one it is. Download the app. Find yourself some bars that play wrestling live. Brad, social media, please. Oh, God.
Yeah, exactly. But before you shut it off, I'm actually going to big you up here. There's a TWM Talks, which is very relevant to this show, which you failed to mention, unfortunately, but I will mention it on your behalf, where yourself, George, and Joseph Kingsley Niana review the AEW Revolution show, and that is currently on the website now. So it's a perfect accompanying piece to what we currently talked about today.
And I've also, I was about to say, I've done so much better today in not swearing. I found the podcast.
Oh God! My social media is @BradCassidy170 on Twitter, and just search my name on the site. As simple as that, really, and you'll find everything that I've ever wrote, or all the podcasts I've also took part in.
My Twitter is @George_Geal_. Wrestling has been amazing. I love AEW now. I was very skeptical, but AEW are brilliant. NXT is brilliant, and we shall see you next week.